Hey folks, your OS Reviews. You're watching our video first look and a quick review of this DVR vehicle Black Box dashboard camera, and it records at a full 1080p HD resolution, which is pretty good. A lot of other cheaper dashboard cams we've seen in the past tended to have, let's say, a 720p resolution. This one sells on Amazon for about $110, and you can find more links down in the description box below. So it competes with other dashboard cams and DVR vehicle black box cams we've seen in the past, such as products by Kahan. And this one also has a very good construction quality in the sense it is made out of a slab of aluminum and does have some pretty advanced nighttime recording capabilities. It still records your shots again in a pretty good format, as well as you can still see what's happening around you when the sun goes down. You can still read things like license plates, which are quite important in the case of an accident. Otherwise, it does have a pretty wide angle lens of 130 degrees, so that can capture a pretty wide field of view. But with that being said, this is also a fixed focus camera, as with most dashboard cams, so you can snap a few shots, but it's really meant just for security. There's also a motion sensor or an accelerometer built on here, so in the case that you do get into an accident, this will be mounted, let's say, on a windshield. It knows that you have a sudden jolt, and as a result, it's going to freeze and keep whatever video you've been recording, because typically when you insert a memory card, by the way, it supports up to 64 gigabytes. It's going to continuously loop and record over that video just to ensure that you have enough space and memory. But then again, it's going to lock the video in the case of an accident, which is a pretty nice feature to have. There are optional accessories for this dashboard cam as well, including GPS modules if you want to add that capability for geotagging or tracking your placement when you're driving. When you download your footage onto a computer and put it next to a map, it can show you that info. But otherwise, it has a wealth of accessories in the packaging, which correlate to things like the dashboard mount, the mounting brackets, which includes quite a few. There's a suction cup, there is the actual car power receiver, and as well as the syncing cable when you want to plug it into a computer. Just like with most dashboard cameras, the integrated battery module also isn't quite super strong because it's not really meant for use as a dedicated, let's say, an action camera. It's just meant to be staying in your car. So it's only going to last you about 2 or 3 minutes when you've unplugged it from power. Otherwise, it looks kind of like a high-end camera from afar, maybe even a manual camera, just because the lens protrudes that much, and it has a 3-inch display on the back, or 2.7-inch display for you to interact and view your content as well. Otherwise, this particular unit doesn't come with an SD card pre-installed, but then again, you can pick up your own, and it also uses a mini USB port for charging as well as for power. Taking a quick look at the unit in terms of the design, we have access in the front to a speaker. There's also a microphone, so it can record a bit of sound. You can turn that on or off through the settings. We have IR sensors on the sides as well. This is just the lens. You can see the aperture and the ratings on the top. Otherwise, we have that mounting bracket up top, which is proprietary. There's also access to a mini HDMI cable in the box, and this is for connecting it to a HD television or a projector for viewing back your images and videos. There's also that aforementioned mini USB cable. Kind of interesting that most dashboard cams are still using mini USB as opposed to micro USB or USB Type-C, but just a quick side note. On the side here, you have access to the micro SD card slot. We have the navigation keys for controlling up and down when you're going through these settings, as well as an OK key that kind of also brings up the main setting, which we'll show you in a moment. Down below is the aforementioned mic, as well as a reset pen, and the other side features controls for OK, going back to the more advanced setting menu. There's also a power on-off switch, and also a quick shortcut key, which is also programmable. The back features that very glossy display, which is pretty large, but it isn't touch sensitive, so you can still interact and view back your videos directly after you've captured them on here, but it's not the biggest screen in the world. We would still recommend connecting it to a monitor or taking out the SD card and inserting it into a computer. It's a simple plug-and-play process without any drivers that are needed. So next we're going to plug this into power and show you guys the main user interface. So here is the main boot up screen. As you can see, that some things are automatically set in Chinese, but most of the icons are in English, and you can set up different languages as well through the settings. We have it connected to the power, so the 2 LEDs in the front are illuminated, as you can see. It takes about a second to boot up, so not too bad either. In terms of indications and icons, you can see the resolution on the top, so we're in 1080p full HD mode right now, Indeed, this is a very wide angle lens, but you know, the device has a pretty good color saturation, it seems, from the viewfinder, just taking a quick look right now. Otherwise, the screen is only so-so. It seems like viewing angles are quite limited. If you look at it from above or below, colors seem to wash out a bit, but that seems to be a main theme with most dashboard cameras we've seen. Otherwise, there's also things for the time, so amount of time that the video has been recording, whether or not that GPS functionality or that accelerometer functionality has been turned on. There's also things for the white balance. We're in the video mode, not in the photo mode. Exposure settings, microphone has been turned on. Time and date stamp settings as well down below. Time since the unit has been turned on, and the battery status. So a pretty easy to use and understand interface. So we're going to tap on the menu key first here just to bring that up. And again, this transitions back into the video photo taking mode. Starts off at 5 megapixels, which is decent, but it's a fixed focus, infinity focus lens, so keep that in mind. Not really designed for photo taking exclusively. This is actually the playback setting, so it takes you through your pre-taken images and your videos if you want to view them back. Again, this part is in Chinese, but we can set that back to English when you toggle back and forth between the menus. So going into settings, you know, we can more quickly check that out. So more things over here, such as the resolution, changing the auto balance, going over here will allow us to change things such as, again, language, when the screen times out, how long, you know, I should have it turn on in terms of inactivity before it goes to sleep, the cycling or the looping of the video, and so on and so forth. So as shown from that brief video clip, you guys could see that the overall quality of the video is quite impressive. Colors are saturated, they're balanced, and most objects are in focus. It does have a bit of a fish eyes effect because of that wide angle lens, but all in all, not bad. And I would say that it captures a good enough amount of detail for you to accurately pick out things like license plate numbers and details, again, in the case of an accident. And there's also the feature to turn things like the timestamp on and off, to change things like brightness and saturation levels through the settings. So overall, a pretty advanced dashboard cam, relatively slim, well constructed out of metal, and performs nicely for the price range. Overall, I would say that this is a competitor as well to devices like the Xiaomi Yi dashboard camera, although I do have to say that the Yi camera has a 2K resolution, which is slightly better. This is just 1080p, so that's something to keep in mind. But you can check out more details about this unit, including the performance, more data, test footage we collected in our official written review. But this has been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews.